Hello and welcome to coverage of the Super Sunday Series Championship. We're in Renton, Washington at Wizards of the Coast headquarters, and it's time for the finals. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Buehler, and we are underway. Oscar Christensen from Denmark is on your left. He is playing red-green monsters against Luis Salvatto with red-white aggro. Luis comes from Argentina. And a nice start here for Oscar Christensen.
He gets to go turn 1 Elvish Mystic, turn 2 Rattleclaw and a Scryland. Like on the play, turn 1 Elvish Mystic. He's ahead. He's way ahead. I mean, his deck is naturally a little bit slower than Luis Salvatto's, but on the play with a turn 1 Mystic, it's not slower anymore.
No, it's evened up. And it looks like Oscar's going to ship that card to the bottom and pass the turn back to Luis Salvatto.
I don't know that I was expecting a Naya-flavored finals here. It's like white and green are duking it out to see who pairs better with red.
Yep, and Chain of the Rocks is actually going to take care of Rattleclaw Mystic right off the bat. Not a great turn 2 play from Luis. I mean, he had to do something, but...
Not a great turn 3 for Oscar if it starts with attack with my Elvish Mystic.
Now, he could have a Boon Satyr in hand here and still develop his board out. If he doesn't, yeah, I'm kind of with you. That was not a great turn. So let's see what he's got.
Could also have left up Lightning Strike to kill Rabblemaster, maybe. No. But yeah, the problem with that is always Hordling Outburst. You do not want to have burn spells left up against Hordling Outburst. Okay, Boon Satyr.
Boon Satyr it
develops
is.
his board, but I mean it doesn't pair up well against Hordling Outburst.
It's actually quite terrible there. Now, Oscar can have 5 mana this turn, including double red. We could just start seeing dragons come flying in here. You know, once he starts casting a Parade of Storm Breaths, there's one right there. This is where the race gets swung firmly in Oscar's favor, as he can get to cards like Storm Breath where Luis Salvatto can't.
White does not give you mana acceleration. All right, the Rabblemaster. Chain your Boon Satyr. You're not even picking off one of my Goblin tokens with that 4-2. Pretty nice tempo play for Salvatto.
That's a nice play too, yeah. So
how does this race work out though?
You know, I don't know.
Storm Breath wins this race if Oscar can kill Rabblemaster?
Yes, that's correct.
Oscar's got Crater's Claws. He's got Lightning Strike. Chandra doesn't really help. It's basically those cards.
Okay, so Storm Breath battles in there, dropping Luis Salvatto down to 9. And it is Chandra. He's going to ping a Goblin and ship it back. So, you know, all of a sudden there's a lot of pressure on this Elvish Mystic to get one chump block in at some point here on this Goblin Rabblemaster.
There's 6 mana for Oscar. So if he doesn't chump block and has a land, then Storm Breath is lethal, right? He can monstrous the Storm Breath Dragon. He can win the game next turn.
That's true.
I don't know if that's how he's playing it.
Oh, he
got
has
the
the
lightning
strike this turn too.
There you go.
Wow, just completely emptied his whole hand there.
Yep, Chandra plus Lightning Strike. Picks off a Goblin and the Rabblemaster. Now he's bought himself enough time to attack with Storm Breath twice.
Yes.
Also, land off the top is still lethal.
Yeah.
I don't think Luis can get all the cards out of his hand. Can
no
he?
way.
Plus Chandra can ping for 1 if she
Chandra
needs
can
to.
ping for 1 too, yeah. The Storm Breath Dragon, 7 power on its own. Now, Luis Salvatto does have an answer for Storm Breath in his deck. He's got Stoke the Flames. He'd have to fire it off immediately for fear of Oscar drawing a land. And, you know, I don't think he's got one in his hand. Chain of the Rocks does not get it done.
This is where you really see the tempo advantage from an Elvish Mystic, right? Salvatto's got 4 cards left in his hand. Oscar has dumped all of them. He's down to 0 cards in hand.
Yes.
And it's basically, he was on the play, so okay, fine, he's down a card and goes first. But that Mystic...
And he's just dead, right? 4... Oh, no, it's not quite enough. He still needs to hit a land.
Yeah, he needs a land. He's dead to a land.
Does Oscar find it? He hasn't played it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I would think he's done the math. If he had a land, he'd be
Oh, he hit one.
Oh, Chandra.
Crack
Yeah.
this, and I think we're going to see.
Although he had to use Chandra, so this only oh.
It's still enough because Luis has 3 cards in hand.
Ah, of course. Crazy. Had 2 shots at a land and got there on the second one. Had to be land that comes into play untapped.
Yep.
It was ball game.
And Oscar Christensen picks up the first game in impressive fashion. That was quick.
Yeah, if that deck could play 6 Elvish Mystics, 8 Elvish Mystics,
Yes.
we'd see it winning a lot more
It
tournaments.
would, yeah. And the key, of course, being that Elvish Mystic coming down on turn 1. It does
Yeah.
attempt to fill that slot by playing other mana creatures, but that one drop,
They all cost 2, yeah.
so important.
These decks are actually pretty similar in terms of the red cards they play, right? They both have Ash Cloud Phoenix. They both have 4 Storm Breath Dragons. They both have 2 Chandras. They both have 3 Lightning Strikes precisely. Now, Salvatto is more red. He's got Hordling Outburst and Stoke the Flames, whereas Oscar's got a fair number of green cards. They both play 4 Rabble Masters. Pretty similar. They both sideboard Sarkin. Interesting. I wonder what happens here after sideboarding. Oscar's got, I mean, the Back to Natures are obviously not relevant. The Sarkins, 2 Xenagos and a Chandra. Faded Conflagration. Wild Slash? Is that good here?
Yeah, Wild Slash is great, right? Kills the
It doesn't kill.
Rabble Master and kills Seekers.
Yeah, you probably do want it. You know what you really want, though?
What's that?
Barrage of Boulders.
Oh, yeah?
He has 2 copies
Oh,
of
he has
Barrage
2
of
of that?
Boulders.
Clear
Kill
away a
all
bunch
your
of
tokens.
That's pretty nice.
And maybe you can't block.
Yeah. Huh. And usually, I mean, his deck is very good at getting Ferocious enabled. That's interesting.
Yeah. Luis, on the other hand, he has a couple of Outpost Sieges in his sideboard. Does that do anything here?
I would not play that.
Yeah.
That's too slow. Like you tap out your turn at any point against Oscar's deck to play Outpost Siege, which does just nothing the turn you play it most of the time, and he just goes, here's a dragon. I just don't think you have the time to fuss around with that. I tend to play that more in a grindy matchup.
Yeah, he's got Hush Wings, which don't seem like they turn off enough things. He's got Glare of Heresy that's obviously not relevant. The Erases are not relevant. There's not much in Luis Salvatto's sideboard. I'm not sure his deck is all that bad, though. I think his deck is advantaged in the main. I don't know. It's a cool matchup. Get to see
I like these type of matchups, just these kind of slugfest, you know.
blood makes the grass grow.
I've never heard that.
It's an Eric Lauer phrase.
That's a great one. How is that not flavor text yet? These players, of course, are playing for a lot of money here. $6,000. Like, it's been a really fun weekend for the players. We've been hanging out with them at dinner, doing some drafts, and they're all having a great time, but it's business time right now.
Oh, yeah.
There's a big pay jump here, $3,000 difference between first and second place, but both players can breathe a little bit of relief here and say, well, I'm locking up $3K just for where I'm at now, which is real nice, and then and try to go for the trophy and for the $6,000. Our top 8 competitors all got at least $1,000, and if you made it to the semifinals, you got $1,500. We paid $500 down to 16th, and then everybody got a booster display. That's a box.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to translate the in the building stuff. You know, you got a box.
It up into the display formation for you and give it to you. Is that why?
No, Rashad wants to know if they put it in a little because it's a display, right? Like
Sure.
each box has a little perforated part so that you can set it up in a store and see what packs are behind it. And Rashad wants to know if they present it to them that way, and the answer is no, they don't. Sealed booster display. So you can actually take a look at the background there. Those are the players and some employees as well.
Also, to the surprise of absolutely no one, Tim Ayton is watching a draft. Not playing in a
Oh,
draft.
yeah, I see him right there.
He's birding. That's what he lives for. Funny.
That's Calvin Kim right there. He was playing in the event. If you look to
I
the
think I
far
see
right.
Melissa DeTorres in the back, too. She's the newest addition to R&D.
Yeah, she is.
Her internship started last week before?
It started, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. See Matt Costa there too. He made it to the top 8, but ultimately lost in the quarterfinals. I see Park Jun Young over there. Grand Prix winner, battling in a side draft, and even an Adrian Sullivan.
Sure. Yeah, he almost clawed his way back from a slow start into the top 16. Came up just a couple spots short.
Oscar Christensen, interesting story on how he got here. He made it to the finals of one of these qualifiers, and of course the way you get to this point is you have to win a Super Sunday Series Invitational. Qualifier. And those happen on day 2 of a GP, right? And Oscar actually made it all the way to the finals of one, only to find himself seated against Joel Larson, of all people.
Okay.
Joel beat him and sent Oscar home.
And then Oscar won a different one?
He actually just won the next one.
Oh my God.
Literally the next GP, he just didn't day 2 the GP, played Super Sunday again, and won it. So
wow.
That doesn't happen very often where you're
That's
like,
impressive.
oh, I'll get him next time. And then you actually do. Yeah, they're not easy to win, but they're certainly worth it.
Several hundreds of players in them typically,
Yeah, there's
right?
200-300 there can be in these things. They are tough. The cool part about them, though, is that you can pick which format you want. Most of them are a sealed part and then also a standard part, and you get to pick which one you want to be in. If you make the top 4 of your half, then you can make it to the top 8 where you do, well, the only real way to play Magic, a booster draft. And then the winner of that wins their seat. And with that, they get flown out here to Renton in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. They get to get a tour. They get put up in a hotel. They get some dinner out of the deal. Meals are paid for. And they get to participate in this really fun weekend-long tournament, Super Sunday Series Championship. So keep that in mind next time you go to a Grand Prix. They are a really sweet follow-up tournament if things don't go well for you in day 1 of the GP. All right, looks like we're just about ready for game 2 here. Oscar Christensen kind of thumped Luis there in the first game.
Yeah.
Luis is going to mulligan here. He's on the play, which is right where he wants to be with his red-white aggressive deck, but this part not so much.
Question number 2, does Oscar Christensen have the Elvish Mystic?
That is a huge, honestly, like the turn 1 Mystic is such a difference maker in this deck. Like you said, we had a point there where both players had been playing cards every turn. It's just one of them was empty-handed after starting from 7, and the other one had 3 or 4 cards left.
4, yeah.
And there was an Elvish Mystic kind of waving at us like, I did all that. That was me. Thanks a lot. So Argentinian Luis Salvatto is going to go down to 6 cards here, trying to rally back and even things up against Oscar from Denmark. Denmark making a splash.
Oh yeah, it could be the year of the Danes, right?
Could be.
World Magic Cup champions?
Could be.
That was last year.
Oh, I guess the World Magic Cup was last year. Does that not count?
Was that last year?
It was like a month ago, but yes. 6 weeks maybe?
Well, it's still the same season, right?
Yeah, I mean, time is actually measured in blocks, right?
Right.
It happened after Khans of Tarkir came out, so it's clearly this year.
Yeah, Rashad, I'm not using your antiquated calendar. All right, we've got a keep here from Luis Salvatto. He's got Temple of Triumph to kick things off. So it looks like he's going to be able to work through any mana issues. He's really tanked out there. If you need a land and it's a land, you put it on top.
Right.
If you need a land and it's not, you put it on the bottom. So we know he's got lands.
No Elvish Mystic.
Right.
Not even a forest. He is representing Wild Slash, I guess, which we think probably came in. Seems like it should have come in.
Which one?
Wild Slash.
Wild Slash, yeah, for sure.
But I mean, that's why you lead with Mountain on turn 1. But no Seekers to kill. Now what? You get the awkward spot of, I want to play my 2-drop, but I also want to kill your Rabble Master. The fact that he's cracking a fetch land, sure, would lead you to believe we're going to see either an Air or a Rattleclaw.
Yeah. All right, Heir of the Wilds. Perfectly fine start here. Luis quickly untaps. And what's his turn 3 play? He's got a, he's got a lot of
Just a
great
Seeker.
plays on 3, but he can only find a Seeker of the way. Not bad, but I mean, in a deck with Brimaz,
Yeah, it's no Rabble Master.
Rabble Master, it's a little disappointing. And Heir of the Wilds offers a trade up, denied. Salvatto's going to take the 2 damage here. And apparently no Boom Satyrs this time.
It's interesting. Do you burn this Seeker main phase while there's no tricks possible? No, he's going to play a Morph. What could it be?
What could it ever be? I mean, he is running Ash Cloud.
Yeah,
right?
no, it is actually 2 choices.
Okay.
Okay, Seeker attacks. No prowess triggers so far, but okay, there you go.
So this is after blocks, after no blocks.
After no blocks,
Yeah,
right?
he's going to take down the
Did we see which it
Rattle
was?
Claw Mystic. Yeah,
Looks
it's
like a Mystic.
Mystic, yeah. So that means that he also gets a trigger from the Seeker of the Way. And this is where, trying to race a Seeker of the Way doesn't really turn out great.
Right.
And
Okay.
so you kill it.
Down goes Seeker. Yeah, you need to kill Seeker for sure.
You do. It's a little annoying because Luis Salvatto has so many other great threats that you don't want to have to kill. Ooh, that was a nice draw. You don't want to have to kill his 2-drop, but Seeker just demands that kind of respect. Ooh, an attack from Heir of the Wilds here. Ha! Backup plan. Now he's taking a little bit of risk by attacking here. If that one were to die, he would get hit pretty hard. Oh. He's going to offer the trade. Does that signal to you that Luis might have another Brimaz in hand?
Maybe. Also, may just want to clear a path.
He just figures he has to work through those at some point anyway.
Right. I mean, it makes it more likely that his Rabble Master gets through.
It's true. Okay. So path has been cleared. That part worked, and he is left with some value. I mean,
Right. He made it. He got to make a token.
Yeah.
They traded card for card, and Luis is up a token.
It's hard to argue with that.
Both players have stopped playing land on 3.
Yeah, Christensen and Salvatto.
That
both
has to be
not
better
hitting
for
lands.
Salvatto.
Has to be. One deck has 5 drops.
They both do.
What's Salvatto?
Storm Breaths.
Oh, he's got his own Storm Breaths, of course.
They both have 4.
A lot of red cards in hand for Luis Salvatto. All of them. See that he's got Stoke the Flames. How worried is he about that morph? If it's a Mystic, is he wanting to try to shut the door on that thing?
He would like to kill it. I mean, a lot of these early turns though are just like, what's the most efficient way to play your hand?
Why is that? Why is the morph attacking?
It's being convoked for Stoke.
Gotcha.
Yeah, kills it. Did you get another Mystic?
I think that one was not. I think it was a...
Oh, that one was Ash
Yeah,
Cloud.
that was a Phoenix.
If it's a Mystic though, the +2 mana that Oscar would
Yeah.
get next turn is really nice for Oscar.
Exactly.
And I think Luis, I mean, it's not bad to get an Ash Cloud, but I mean, really wanted to make sure that he's keeping him pinched on mana.
Right.
So I mean, I like that line of play.
I do too, and you can see what's happening here. I mean, look at Luis Salvatto's side of the board. It's gotten quite big. He's now got 6 creatures. And an Ash Cloud Phoenix for Oscar Christensen is going to play defense here.
Now, Salvatto does not have Rattle Claw Mystic, so we know that his morph is an Ash Cloud Phoenix.
Right. No Jeering Instigators or anything?
No Jeering Instigators.
There.
Finally, a 4th land, though.
Both players have found 4th land now. So we're going to get a real fight here. Salvatto's going to play Outpost Siege here.
He did bring it in.
He brought it in.
Which side is he choosing? He just get a
The
dragon token? Is that what
yeah.
happened?
He's
Cute.
choosing dragons. All right, this is really interesting. It looks pretty good here, right? I mean, all these random tokens dying and pinging is a big deal. And now that he's ahead, I mean, I suppose almost any card would look pretty good here. Like,
fair.
name me a card that doesn't look, that costs 4 mana, doesn't look great here. But
Wow, air can't even block a token, right? It just dies to the 1 extra damage from the siege.
it does trade it with it, yes. Well, this is really annoying. He can block the morph, and then the morph would kill the Ash Cloud Phoenix when it died.
True.
Wow. Outpost Siege being really annoying here. So he may as well block with the Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems right. Air eats a token. Phoenix eats the Phoenix. Oscar will get his back. Wait, how do the triggers work here?
So when
Active players' triggers load on the stack first, right? So the siege triggers are under? Or does he have to choose targets when they trigger?
when they die, they go on. So his will be under Luis's.
And he has to choose the target when he puts them on the stack. So he's not going to
Right.
be able to target this Ash Cloud Phoenix that's coming back face down.
Right, because the
He has to
trigger's going to go
target-
on the stack. Yeah, you're totally right. He will be able to finish off the Heir of the Wilds,
Right.
and in any way he'll be able to hit Oscar's face. But yeah, letting him keep the Phoenix could be detrimental here. I'm sure he'd rather have just killed it. Okay, that's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, getting a morph here is a pretty big deal. He's facing down a Goblin Rabble Master there. Having anything that can trade with that's nice. Is this a land? Okay, land number 5. So Oscar Christensen at full power here with 4 cards in his hand. And he's got the Storm Breath, but he knows
Storm Breath on defense, though.
can't attack, yeah. And this is going to be a separate
jeez.
copy of Goblin Rabble Master spewing out tokens, and he's just going to jam with
Yeah.
everybody.
Sure.
So he blocks a token with
Yep.
Storm Breath, and
Yep.
he trades Rabble Master. He'll take an extra
Takes
damage.
4, and then there's 2
5,
pings, which are
6.
probably going to his face.
Yep. Putting him down to
Christensen
4
down to
life.
4.
Does Christensen have a way to gain life? Because the way I see it, he's dead if he doesn't. And he doesn't?
Yeah.
Wow. So we're going to get a game 3 here.
Outpost Siege.
That was interesting. We've seen it twice, and it's been good both times. Now, the question I have is, if you're behind, right?
Right,
If you find
right.
yourself behind the 8 ball and Christensen's like making haste creatures, then you have that card in your hand, and it probably looks pretty bad. There, though, it felt like he couldn't lose once he played it.
It was the finishing blow in a game where he was already ahead.
Yeah.
He was ahead,
Yeah.
ahead. Here's the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah. But like we said also,
Does not, right, Outpost
Yeah.
Siege was good there, but
Yeah.
lots of things would have been good there because
Yeah.
he was already ahead.
yeah.
So I don't know. I mean,
Jury's out, but
jury's still out.
it certainly affects the board in a very meaningful way. We've seen that twice.
In a weird way, too.
In a very weird way, yeah.
I mean, all the tokens make it particularly good. I don't know. It's an interesting
I
card.
think they definitely do. Especially there. I mean, you have 4 or 5 random goblins and a vigilance cat laying around, and those just all turn into
We get to learn about the
fireballs.
timing of
Yeah.
Ash Cloud.
That was very important. Yeah.
Do you want to hear the crazy rules interaction from earlier that I saw?
Yeah. What happened?
So Tomoharu Saito uses Jeering Instigator
Mm-hmm.
to steal his opponent's Jeskai Infiltrator. That's the one that when it attacks, you like shuffle it in another card,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's in his opponent's sleeve. And so Saito, of course, he says, I want to take it out of my opponent's sleeve in order to
yeah.
shuffle them up so that my opponent doesn't know which one is his own Jeskai Infiltrator, right?
Yeah.
You can't.
What?
You can't take it out of your opponent's sleeve. In fact, the fact that your opponent's cards, you can never like shuffle them up in a way where your opponent doesn't know where their cards are. It turns out even if it was unsleeved, you're obliged to tell your opponent which of these things you're shuffling is the one that he owns at all times.
I did not know that.
I didn't either. That was a really weird ruling, but
Because you get to keep the infiltrator, right? Like if you can attack with it and get it through,
yeah,
and it becomes a manifest, it's on your side.
right. But it's
The whole going back to their turn doesn't.
it undoes the
ceases to
instigator.
do- yeah.
Like the instigator link is
But
broken.
they get to know which one it is.
yeah.
It's crazy.
You can't hide from them the truth about which of those cards they own.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah,
I
me
never
neither.
even considered that.
Yeah, it was weird. I was talking to the head judge about it. He
So
was-
even if you had the same sleeves, you would have to say, this one's yours.
correct, even if you were unsleeved, you'd have to say which
Right.
one's theirs.
So from combo to non-bow, still
Apparently.
still good though, right? if you can hit with it. You still get it and a 2/2 off the top of your deck, and they don't get it back. It's like, yeah, it's this one, but it's mine still. So, all right. So Oscar Christensen is going to be on the play here for our final game, trying to take home yet another trophy to Denmark for Add that to that country's list of accolades. Luis Salvatto, though, he is not going to make it easy. Luis is from Argentina, and he'd like to have a trophy there. Thank you very much. Got to figure Oscar's a favorite here just from being on the play, right?
Being on the play definitely helps. I don't know. I mean, I think the
Like-
matchup favors Luis.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if
Maybe
being on the
if it
play is
evens it
enough
up, yep.
to even it up. It's one of those for like neutral field, I'd favor Luis. On the play though, might
It
bring it back
matters.
to pick him. Speaking of pick'em sporting events, we got a big game next weekend. You'll be covering the Grand Prix instead of watching our Seahawks?
Yes.
It was interesting. I was actually, so I was driving.
They're
to the-
not mutually exclusive.
Fair. I was driving.
We'll see.
As I was driving to the event today, I was sort of driving down the interstate. The Seahawks practice facility is actually like 5 minutes from here, and it's between my house and Wizards' building. So as I'm driving in, I noticed that there are fans on all the overpasses on the interstate. There's like every time I went under an overpass, there'd be like 20, 30 fans and half a dozen banners hanging down. 'Cause
Unbelievable.
Apparently today was the day the Seahawks are going to be driving to the airport. There's like literally
That is
100
so
Seahawks
awesome.
fans that like divided up all of the exits so that they could be cheering on the Seahawks.
That is just great. I'm trying to figure out how I can time my brakes at GP San Jose.
If it was an East Coast GP, you'd have a shot.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to call the top 8. The players would all get to watch, except for the top 8ers.
Yep.
Hagan had me confused for a while. He told me that the Super Bowl was on the Pro Tour weekend.
Oh,
I was thinking about like Pro Tour, but East Coast Pro Tour though would have worked. It was sort of
'cause we're on
probably
DC.
worked out in DC, but Hagan had the weekends wrong.
all right. Opening hands here for the finals. Who's it going to be? Oscar Christensen, Red Green Monsters, Luis Salvatto, Red, White, Aggressive. Start things off with some keeps here, gentlemen. How
Is
about
this
that?
Oscar thinking about it? Oh, there it is.
There's the hallmark, the Elvish Mystic on turn 1.
And it lives to turn 2.
No bolting of the bird, as we say.
Yeah, no
Still,
4-2s.
Still has room, though.
Do we have a 2-drop?
Maybe a little Air of the Wilds here? Oh, no, it's
Oh,
just
just
going to
an attack.
attack.
All right, no meaningful damage done yet. Although, I mean, just the tempo of Luis being forced to kill it on turn 2 is not nothing.
Yeah, I mean, he knows he doesn't have anything else to do with 2 mana, so
Yeah,
He's
you
gonna
totally
kill
kill it.
Yep.
That is, I don't care if you have a Seeker of the Way, you kill the elf.
I agree. Elf down,
More comes into play tap lands.
and nothing from Christensen. Is this going to be a Rabble Master? No.
Or
Rabble
Outburst.
Master would have been pretty insane, though. Outburst might even be better
Rabble-
if Oscar has a lightning
Rabble
strike.
Master might have died. Right, it could
Yeah.
easily have died.
Totally.
There's both Wild Slash in from the sideboard and Lightning Strike in the deck.
This is a good time for... Okay, that's not
Xenagos
bad.
in from the sideboard.
All right. Hello, old friend.
You want to fight token fight? We'll fight token fight.
I make 2/2s, you get 1/1s. What do you say? Now, he's got to leave it back for blocks, and I think that we're going to see it dispatched pretty quickly by Chain of the Rocks. I know Luis has 2 of those, but he also might have another burn spell or something to get rid of it. And then that will clear the way for the goblins to rumble in. It looks like Chain it is. All right, so a nice sequence there.
Yeah.
Ultimately a 1-for-1. I mean, you always feel bummed
It's a
when you play
4-mana card for a 1-mana
Planeswalker,
card, though.
but- Yeah.
I mean, it should
true.
be Edge Luis just on mana, except he doesn't seem to have done anything else with this turn.
Also, including play another land.
Might have a handful of white cards and only 1 white mana.
Could be. He could have a lightning strike.
Yeah,
he
you could have
wants
Lightning
to
Strike
do.
up to hit a Rabble Master.
Yeah. Here's Ashcloud Phoenix for Christensen. Doesn't match up particularly well against the 1/1s on the ground, though not terrible. I mean, you can just
mean, you're
grind
racing,
through
right.
them, but he's just going to start attacking.
I would think. What,
Yeah.
you want to trade for one and come back as a 2/2? Is that the plan?
Probably not.
If that was the plan, you would have played it face down rather than take one off Mana Confluence.
Maybe. I mean, this way, even if he has Lightning Strike, you still get a creature.
Fair. Yeah, these are the little subtle details that a match like this can turn on.
Absolutely.
How do you just turn that like 1/1 token profit?
All right. He pointed at him, and I'm like, is he really saying go? That doesn't make any sense.
No, I think
but
that
he
was how many cards are in your hand.
Yeah, he was asking how many cards he had in his hand. Okay, in comes the team. Taking it. Hits his land drop.
Yep. And he did have a bunch of white cards in his hand.
And
But,
there's that siege again.
yeah, it goes for Outpost Siege.
Looks like he has taken Khan, so he's going to be drawing extra cards from the siege here.
So he gets Chandra 0 ability every turn.
Yes, and it looks like Luis does think this is a bit grindier than it appears on the surface, where it's
This is
More
not a game where he's
thumbs
ahead
here.
either. I mean, this is a more interesting test of the Outpost Siege.
yeah, he's in the middle, right? Yeah, yeah, and he's going to have to come up with something great off of the siege because he's facing now 2 Ash Cloud Phoenix, which are going to kill him in 2 turns.
All right. Siege reveals a Brimaz.
Which
He
is
already
a
had
little
one in his
depressing,
hand.
yeah, because he already had one.
I mean, he's up the card, right? He can play that one instead of the one from his hand, and then if it gets killed, but that's not where the game is going. This is not
no.
grindy. This is, I have 8 power worth of flyers.
Right, and the thing to remember when we're evaluating that siege is that he effectively took last turn off.
Right.
Right, like he could have a Brimaz in play right now. Right, that could be attacking and forcing the issue against this Phoenix, but doing nothing for the turn. Can you get away with it in
Oh, man.
Standard in this type of matchup?
No
That's
third
the
white
question.
mana. He wants to go chain Brimaz this turn is what he wants to do. But he doesn't have a third white.
And I want to remind you that Brimaz is not on the battlefield.
Right.
Like
It has been revealed by the Outpost Siege. Tokens chip away. Yeah, I think you have to chain.
He's dead in 2 turns.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's going to stay hidden there, but remember, Oscar does have a way to get rid of those. Yeah, that thing stays exiled too. All right, so perhaps not the most mana-efficient turn for Luis Salvatto, but he did what he needed to do to keep that clock lowered down, and he's got his opponent with just the 1 Ash Cloud Phoenix. This is where Oscar wants to play Land Dragon.
Has Luis got Stoke up? I think he's got Stoke to Flame in his hands.
1, 2,
Which makes this turn
3,
a lot more
4.
mana efficient.
Yes, you're totally right, and he does have 4. This is a big turn for Christensen. He needs to do something impressive.
Yeah, you're kind of at that point where if you can do 2 things a turn and your opponent can't, you start pulling ahead of him.
Right, here's Phoenix, and it's going to get stoked.
Okay.
And, you know, Luis can just throw around these burn spells like this because he figures, well, I'm just going to recoup this back again off of the siege. So
Great point.
I like how he's playing it. Once you have that siege down, just kill everything.
Yeah.
If you're drawing 2 cards a turn, you're going to get ahead. Does he have Chandra too? Or maybe that was a Sarkhan. Yeah, I think it was a Sarkhan. All right, there's Chandra.
Mm-hmm. Pick off a goblin.
Yep. Okay, let's see what the siege hits. These are big reveals,
Mountain.
which he
Presumably he's
plays
going
during
straight to
his upkeep.
He put it on top of the siege.
Okay, sorry. I was just teasing him anyway. So he's
Still
got
only 2 white, so Brimaz would be his only white card.
Sarkhan times 2 in hand,
And Brimaz
and then the Brimaz.
only gets to do 1 thing. It's the most impactful
I
thing.
mean, the one thing he could do is
Sarkhan
just
kills Chandra.
kill Chandra, yeah.
Yeah, I like play Sarkhan and then send everybody at Chandra.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
Chandra
Morphle, of
demands
course,
respect.
pick off a goblin, but still 5.
So in this slugfest that was, you know, even to slightly in Oscar's favor when the siege came down, Luis has been able to stabilize and now pull ahead, and he's of course still going to generate advantage from the siege every turn as well. Still
Even
no
only-
5th mana, by the way.
I was going to say, I mean, part of the value of the siege was finding a land there.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar would love to have a free land.
I wonder if Oscar brought in his back
The
to
mana
natures.
confluence.
There's a
There's
storm
a
breath.
storm breath. A little painful storm breath, but
He gets to kill Sarkon here
I think so, yeah.
and just leave his opponent with the goblin. That seems fine.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think there's a replacement Sarkon for Luis Salvatto, which gets to kill Storm Breath. This is just haymakers back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the
Seeker
card
of
for
the
the
Way.
siege? That's
Seeker of the Way.
That's a siege card?
Yep.
Okay.
Can he Sarkon and Seeker? He's a mana short. He's only got 6 in play.
Yes, he only has 6.
So once again, he's just going to not play the siege card. Crazy. I mean, you do what you got to do, obviously.
Right.
Seeker's not in play, right? That's the siege card, pretty sure. Okay.
Awkward, but like you said, you do what you got to do. So he's missed out on a secret.
I mean,
and a
and his game
Brimaz.
plan is working, right? His
Yes.
game plan of just, I'll kill all your stuffs.
Yep.
I'm eventually going to grind you out with card advantage.
Yeah. I mean, he's hoping to hit those removal spells instead of the threats, but as it turns out, he's had the removal spells in hand.
Yeah, and Luis left his goblin back, planning to chump block that Ash Cloud Phoenix, so it can't kill
Totally.
Sarkon.
Now, Oscar, if he has 6 mana, nope, that land into the battlefield tapped. He could have flipped up the Phoenix and gotten that job done, but it's not going to happen the way that it went here. And Lightning
So he
Strike
has
to
to Lightning
finish off
Strike
Sarkon. So, but again, this is not the fight that Oscar wants to be fighting here.
2 damage for the morph.
Right? I mean, he's 1 for 1-ing with Luis, or even getting 2 for 1 occasionally, while Luis just generates advantage. And now,
Well, what else is he going to do?
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, like, this is. I'm speaking to the siege. It's looking good here.
I mean, credit to Oscar. He's maneuvered it so that he's ahead on board.
That was when he
But
passed the turn.
Credit to Luis. The Outpost Siege is just keeps supplying him with threats.
He's actually just trying to decide right now if he wants to start picking these things off. He's got lightning strikes, but he's also got that Brimaz still
Right.
in his hand.
Yeah.
And he's just going to try to turn the tide back in his favor with
2
double
Rabble Masters?
Rabble Masters.
Cute.
Christensen falls down to 6. This life total's low.
It's his 2 mana confluences have not helped.
Luis Salvatto
That is
getting close.
both the mana confluences in his list. He only plays 2. But drawing both of them has hurt.
Yeah, if he wants to tap both of them now, he opens himself up to getting stoked right out of here, and he's got other problems. Hey, make that 7. Only 1 card left. It's Barrage of Boulders. He's going to wait a turn. And there's an Ash Cloud Phoenix off of the siege, so he can cast that thing. Does he have double Lightning Strike in hand, or 1? I think he just has 1 now. Lightning Strike on Morph.
Weird. He can flip it, turn it into a Phoenix, and then get it back.
It would cost him 4 life to do that.
I'm aware. Saves him 1 from the token he'll get to block, or the Rabble Master he'll get to block.
Yes. Okay, he can
He
actually
flips
get
the
a
Mystic to
discount
get the extra
here.
mana.
So there's 3 mana. 4, 5, 6, and he can leave the Mystic up to try to block the other
Yeah.
Rattleclaw.
Makes
so
sense.
this is close. This is very, very close.
I mean, Oscar's playing this as well as he can. I'm impressed with the way he's playing,
I
given,
like how
given
he's
the
playing
draws.
too.
Yeah. Block,
Block,
the 2
block,
Rabble
go to
Masters, go to
1.
1. Ash Cloud Phoenix.
Lethal, 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 and is this going to do it?
Outpost Siege.
Well, so he can barrage, and it kind of kills everything, but it
The Ash
wasn't
Cloud
enough.
comes back. The Ash
And-
Cloud comes back, and then the
Yeah.
Ash Cloud flips for
It
lethal.
flips exactly. So
Luis
Luis
Salvatto.
Salvatto is our winner. All the way from Argentina, made it into the top 8 in the 8th spot, and comes through to beat Oscar Christensen and become our Super Sunday Series champion. Congratulations to Luis Salvatto playing red-white aggro. He gets right by red-green monsters. He also had to beat black-green constellation, and he had to beat Ubs on aggro as well to make it to the finals.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Oscar Christensen's Yasovas
Yes.
on the way to the final, but it was the Outpost Siege that won it.
It was
It was absolutely Fate Reforged.
totally.
Outpost Siege.
The game before it won it as well, though, as we noted, there's a lot of cards that would do it there,
Yeah.
but on that game, he was a little behind when he played it,
Yeah.
and then he just ground.
Yeah.
Grind, and all of a sudden he generated enough advantage to win it.
Yeah, good
So
game.
congratulations to him and to everybody else who A, made it here, and B, made it to the top 8. It was a really fun weekend. We're actually going to get a chance to have a quick chat with Luis Salvatto. Nate Price is going to wrangle him up and get some thoughts from him. You can see how excited Luis was. Congratulations to him. He's won $6,000 for the victory. And it looks like they're about ready to chat. All right. What?
We're not ready yet?
They're not quite ready yet. Looks like they're just having a little friendly chit-chat before we send it down there, but that's a big smile on Luis Salvatto, and why not? It's also a big trophy.
Yeah.
That thing seems sweet. All right, let's send it down to Nate, who's standing right there with Luis.
All right, welcome back, guys. I'm Nate Price, and I'm here with your Super Sunday Series Championship champion, Luis Salvatto. How's it going?
Yes.
How do you feel right now?
So happy, so happy.
Awesome.
Only thing the next year I'll be back again is fabulous.
Perfect, right?
Yeah.
I know as a Latin American player, it can be difficult to get the opportunities to travel really
Yeah,
far like this, and
yes.
now you are the
So
champion
hard.
of a tournament. You have an opportunity to come back again.
Yes. It's a super.
Awesome. And that last match was very difficult. Down
So,
game 1,
yeah.
behind the other 2
Mulligan-
games.
Mulligan 6 in the second.
Yeah. Feels good to come back from the behind and actually take things down?
Yes. I play against Oscar 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times in Seal Draft, in draft, and now in standard.
Final record?
2-1.
2-1? Yeah. The
Come back again.
The one that matters, yeah.
He won me the first match.
Took the
I'm
next
so
two.
happy.
Perfect. Anything you want to send back to all the people back at home?
Yeah, thank you so much to all my team, MTG Keep. Thank you very much to Jorge from Chile, who pays all of this, and all my friends and family. So happy.
Beautiful.
Magic layer.
All right. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Luis Salvatto, your champion of the Magic the Gathering Sunday Super Series Championship.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nate, and congratulations once again to Luis Salvatto, our champion. Great weekend, Randy.
Oh, this was fun.
Lots of fun, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is one of the more fun events that we have on the calendar. We get to kick back a little bit, you know, we do some wacky formats and have a good time here at WotC. But alas, it is time for us to take off. I wanted to take a minute to thank everybody that helped make the show possible. Alan Hockman from Past Times. I saw Steve Port also helping. All of the Wizards staff, judges, everybody here that helps make this whole thing go. And of course, the players and you, the viewers, thanks for hanging out. For Randy Buehler, for Nate Price, for Rashad, I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. We'll see you guys next weekend from San Jose.